take this moment also to shout out to our tracker, Dimensive, aka DMN. Thank you for helping us out today. And we are starting out right off the bat. Gem is finding 5 rupees in the sanctuary and gloves in the house for Daaanty.
Okay, 5-6 crystal at Eastern, red pendant at Desert, and regular crystal at Hera.
Yeah, that early map check not always as important in all dungeons, since we're going to have to hit all of these guys eventually anyway, but you can trace out some of the logic based on that.
Yep. Small magic drop from the tree pull.
Hyrule Castle has a mummy infestation today, it appears.
Yep, also there was a bottle in the Lost Woods, so that'll be nice.
Always convenient to find that bottle early so you don't have to come back and check Sick Kid later.
So, you know, actually, I've been meaning to ask, because I've always used the standalone program. With this, can you have, like, bows?
I believe it still accounts for normal item logic before shuffling the bosses. So, that's what I've been told, but I'm not 100% sure of that. As we see Gem taking advantage of the Randomizer to find a fish in the Lost Woods and bring it to the bottle vendor, get a nice fill up on bombs and magic and some rupees as well.
Yep. Alright, let's see what Blinds has for us today. 3 bombs. Bow? Well, okay, so much for the bow being a troll item. And the red meringue.
Yeah, that's definitely a good start. I feel like the bow and the hammer are the things that really slow down the start of a seed, so finding either of those right away is super exciting. And we do see our runners following pretty much the same path. Daaanty is a couple of checks behind Gem just because he headed up into Hyrule Castle right away to check out the uncle in the secret passage. Didn't find anything of interest in there, but those gloves he found in the house on the way there are very nice for him.
Just more bombs. Lots of bombs. Also, this sink.
Yeah, this is pretty incredible, actually.
Like, we're less than a second apart.
Man, Gem pulled about 10 frames ahead there coming out of the well. Those well mechanics paying off. Okay. Stack Kariko once again as we find the hook shot in the chicken hut.
Jeez. Oh, goodness.
Seed is too free. Please re-roll.
Yeah, don't say that yet or you'll just end up, like, destroying that with Commentator Curse.
Yeah, that's what I was going for.
Gloves were in Link's house, yeah. Moon Pearl on the library ledge. Well, that means early boots for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Our runners are actually pretty happy to see that, because that means they're going to find their boots before they get into the Dark World. So that's definitely a good sign for the speed of this seed. And that might just about rule out Aghanim all by itself.
Well, boots could be on Pyramid Ledge.
That is true.
Hammer and the mitts can be in Dark World.
Certainly lowers the chances, at least. But chat, as always, holding out hope for the ultimate trolls.
Well,
or
there's the boots.
We'll just leave the key under the mat as usual.
You know, someone in chat just called that. Who's the witch? I think we have a witch in chat.
That appears to be a German name. I'm going to say that as Volkengeboren. Yeah, needs to be burned. Someone get on that. So Gem there finding 2 pieces of Dark World access within about 10 seconds of each other with the way he routed through this.
Also, chat correcting us saying it's Dutch and not German. But... Alright. Well, now let's see what's in the dam. Ooh. Got it, but then didn't open the chest. That's a little rough.
Just the swag hookshot clip, apparently. Heart container outside of the dam, which Gem didn't seem particularly interested in. Might pick it up here. Yeah, he will early on. Making nice use of the...
vanilla. Vanilla inside the dam.
Uh-huh. Is this even randomized?
I know, right? Then again, given all these weird enemies outside, I gotta say, I think it is.
This is not a bad mini Moldorm cave with the bow early on. Those mini Helmosaurs are easily taken care of. Daaanty ducking into back and escape. Sorry, what were you going to say there?
Exactly what you were. Alright. Jim probably off to Ice Rod Cave. Now, unlike most regular modes, you're probably not going to see fake flippers in this just because, well, if you look at the water and you see all these enemies, yeah. Have fun avoiding those.
Yeah, fake flippers is definitely a lot more scary in Randomizer. Gem is definitely set up for it, though, with the boots early on. You can use water walks to get around, and it's a lot easier to dodge that way since you're not actually swimming, but we'll see what he opts for right here.
Bombos? Eh, true. Yeah, it looks like he's setting up a water walk. So, Ring of Fire in Ice Rod Cave. Sword! Sword in the waterfall cave.
Yeah, that's interesting. So one of our swords is actually flippers locked. Logically speaking, at least.
Logic's logic.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna hold our runners back much.
Also, this rupee sink.
That's actually pretty impressive. As we see another heart container on the Lake Hylia Island.
Also, a much friendlier bridge than usual.
Yeah, it's always very rude when you're just going for a swim and people start shooting arrows at you.
And somehow hit you even though they're like, you know, at least 20 feet up.
Palace guards are sort of like stormtroopers. They can only hit shots when it's important to the plot.
Alright, what's in Bonk Rocks? Just a piece of love.
So we'll see. I think the logic probably wants us to head over to Sahasrara at this point, because without the lamp, we can't get up to Death Mountain, again in logic. Whoa! Crystal
Oh,
Roller.
what the?
Crystal Roller
Did that just like pop out of a rock?
I think so? I'm not sure.
What the heck?
Back of Escape was not treating Gem very nicely there, but he got through that room.
Yeah, but it just like appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah, I don't think there were ever any enemies in the graveyard in Light World. It must have been from the pot. Gem is risking the dark room here in Randomizer, always an interesting choice. Trying to find the key mini Helmosaur, yep, found it, and is through into the second room, working his way back into Dark Cross. This is always scary, just because you have no idea what things you should be trying to avoid in the dark.
Yeah, like chain chomps.
He seems to have ticked off a chicken there, somewhere in the middle of that sword dash.
Oh, is that what that was?
I think I saw a chicken in there somewhere. I'm not 100% sure.
Having a little difficulty with this.
Yeah, he's taken a couple of hearts of damage here in the Dark Cross room, just from random things bumping into him. Looks like he found the chest.
Green Pennant Swamp. 300 rupees, piece of love, and another bottle.
Can't really complain about getting those safeties for when you need them.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
So yeah, we are pretty much down to Agina's Cave and Eastern Palace for what we have not seen that's currently in logic. Again, our runners wouldn't have any problem sequence breaking up to Death Mountain without the lamp, or at least not much of a problem. You never know what enemies are going to be in there, once again in Randomizer Dark Rooms. But, oh yeah, Front of Escape hasn't been done yet either, which is where Gem is headed right now.
Yikes! That is a very unfriendly room.
Yeah, you dash past the 2 fire bars and then just spike trap out of nowhere.
Piece of heart. Bombs. Oh, goodness. Hello, Lionel.
I don't think you're supposed to be in the very first dungeon of the game.
Mitts!
Whoa, the Titan's Mitts! And the cane in Eastern Palace.
My goodness.
Wow.
Tower
meanwhile,
Hair
we see the
Big
tower...
Key requires Firer.
So, Vanilla Hera Big Key today. And the flute!
Oh, goodness.
Wow, that'll be interesting to see how this plays out, because I think it is unlikely that Gem is going to head into Eastern Palace before exploring the Dark World here, is my guess. You sort of always prefer to do that pod and Eastern in one dip if you can. Meanwhile, Daaanty is braving the Dark Room in the back of Eastern Palace, has found the key, so he will now be able to finish off or get to the boss at least, and hopefully be able to defeat whatever that boss is today in our shuffled bosses. So Gem hitting up King's Tomb, tracking down one of those myths checks immediately, and then yes, is heading over to Kakariko to head through the portal with that newly minted Dark World access that he's found.
You know, though, Aga can still be required.
Yeah, until we find that hammer, it's still a possibility that Aga is logically required, and of course, for all dungeons, we'll have to beat it eventually, but just a question of whether our runners will have to do it early or not.
True. It's always nice to pair that in with, after Aga 2.
So, Land Molas fight in the back of the Eastern Palace. Daaanty showing off the bow strats. And yeah, it seems like Gem is also going to head up to Death Mountain first before going into the Dark World.
And 5/6 crystal for Daaanty. Old man has a piece of love.
So yeah, with the early hookshot that we have, Gem is more tempted by East Death Mountain and Paradox and Spiral Cave than he is by heading into the Dark World right away. And it looks like Daaanty is probably headed in that same direction as well.
Blue mail on the
Bonkrocks in the way.
Spec Rock. Yes, Dwight, it was. Dwight? I don't know. Some cash is above the post. Good to know.
It's especially nice since Gem has already sort of orphaned that graveyard ledge check by checking out King's Tomb as well. So good to know that he won't have to head back there at any point.
Did you catch what was on Lumberjack Ledge?
I missed it again. I'm sure chat will tell us. Big 20, according to our fearless tracker.
Oh my. So, Hammer being the last hope for Aga early.
Ooh, Gem finding the flippers.
So at this point, the only hope for Aga before they want to is for Hammer to be at the Pyramid Ferry.
Yeah, which is a big long shot. So Daaanty gonna take his flute up to Death Mountain. We'll also sequence break Old Man for that piece of heart, but we'll be following right behind Gem, it appears. This is also interesting because Gem does not know that Hera is fire locked. You can get the first 2 checks, but you can't climb the tower without any sort of fire source. But Daaanty is aware of that because of the hint that he got over in Eastern.
Yep. Also, I have not seen that meme in ages. Oh goodness, be careful, Daaanty. This is very uncomfortable. Oh gosh.
Pull that last cabbage out of nowhere.
What was Spiral Cave?
Spiral Cave was just arrows, I believe.
Oh, it's even randomized.
And here's the other advantage for Gem, is having dipped into Escape to find those myths, we'll be able to check out most of Dark World East Death Mountain as well. And we'll get a
Also,
look at...
Daaanty's skipping the hint.
Ooh. So that's a choice, I guess. At least it wasn't like a left side of swamp hint or something like that, but you'll probably end up checking Graveyard Ledge at some point.
Oh goodness, look at that room beside the one. Did you see all those big spike traps?
You know, I think I'd rather have spike traps than mini Moldorms. At least they're predictable.
Hammer!
Ooh. Now that is a big get for Gem, because he will have access to that hammer well before Daaanty will. Daaanty will have to head into front of Escape to find those myths. Although this is good news for Daaanty that he will not be able to get Dark World access without the Titan's myths. So he will likely be forced into Escape fairly soon.
Quake on Turtle Rock.
So yeah, Gem has found a lot of items quickly, but the way it's set up, Daaanty will definitely catch up soon, and I don't think he's really going to waste a lot of time without the myths before he sort of catches up on some of these similar checks. But meanwhile, Gem is going to head into the Dark World main area now.
5-6 is Pod, and Meyer is a pendant.
Yes, and the green pendant at Swamp we heard from Sahasrara already. So yeah, with the Titan's Myths in hand, this Hype Cave and then west to Village of Outcast is a really efficient route to follow. So it would suspect that's what Gem is going to do, although he might head into Pod early as well with the hammer and the bow. He's well set up for it, although it is out of logic still without the lamp.
Also Burna in the Hype Cave, but otherwise...
Yeah, not super exciting there. Brian out of 10, Hype Cave. Alright, so Daaanty is heading into Escape, and to no one's surprise, we'll catch up with those myths fairly quickly.
Mirror!
Giving us the mirror.
What a place for a mirror, goodness.
Right, and Gem says, yes, thank you, I would like to check K45 right now.
Just a piece of heart. I think that's vanilla as well. So much vanilla.
So this is also good news for Gem, because the item that he is behind are the flute and red cane, but you have to think that now that he has the mirror, the bow, and the hammer, he's going to make this pod to Easter dip in the very near future, so that will catch him up on that score.
I mean, how comfortable is he with the idea of doing the pod dark rooms, though?
Yeah, the dark rooms are always the issue. I mean, these runners are so used to doing them all the time, but as soon as you enemize them, then all bets are off. Mirror also nice for these checks to start up the Smith chain very efficiently.
Alright, well, that's the mitts for Daaanty.
Yeah, chat
Alright.
pointing out with Pod being the other 5-6 crystal as well, that's even more incentive for Gem to head there right away and risk those dark rooms, even in Randomizer.
Oh dear. This could be problematic.
Yeah, I mean, this is not
Ooh,
great.
sword!
Second sword.
Dwight, only in Randomizer if you turn on that setting. Also, Book of Mudora.
Yeah, that's a very nice thing to have. Now those tablets are in play, especially since we know where the mirror is. So yeah, this lack of hammer is a little bit unlucky for Daaanty, but again, I think he'll very quickly reach the point where he doesn't have a lot else to check except Dark World East Death Mountain, so I would think he'll get up there after he makes this loop down through Thieves Town and then over to Hype Cave, maybe Skull Woods as well. But, yeah, without... Oh, but he's got flippers, so he does have logical access to the east, but I don't know if he'll really want to do that without the hammer.
We'll see. Also, Edie, also keep in mind that Jim's got very high tier, you know, just like execution. Liam! Well, okay, never mind on the dark rooms issue.
Yeah, that's great news for Gem, because now that Pod Eastern Dip is definitely coming soon.
Kind of bad news for Daaanty, though.
Yeah, that'll make him slightly more likely to head to Pod. I still think all those items in Super Bunny
Vitreous
Cave are going to be very tempting.
Also, yay! Vitreous fight with... Well, he's got the bow. He could do that.
Yeah, he's going to run through his bombs here.
Also, fun fact, the fighter sword slashes I don't think actually do any damage to Biddy.
Yeah, I think you have to use spins with Fighter Sword.
And he's gonna have to do quite a few of them because he ran out of arrows.
So I lost track of how many items we have seen in Thieves Town, because this is a pretty common tactic with Chaos Boss Shuffle especially, is you just head straight to the boss first, see if you can beat it, see how many items are left in the back, and then make the decision.
Yeah, makes sense, but also got wall mastered.
Yeah, unlucky for Gem. As Daaanty gets through that tricky little fighter sword Vitreous fight. Made a whole lot easier without the slime on the ground, so you can sort of move wherever you need to, but nicely
What was
done
on the
overall.
boss?
The boss just had a compass.
Okay, so they have for sure gotten one item and may have gotten a second. Because they got a small key, they got the compass, and they got a big key. And that's 5 of the checks. Or 3 of the 5 checks, that is.
So Gem is just opting for fighter sword spins. Busting out the blue cane. Definitely a good option. Oh, he has got the master sword, so his slashes will actually damage the eyeballs.
Yeah,
so
I was
good.
very confused there for a second. It's like, wait, what?
Which means he will have plenty of arrows left to finish off the big eyeball. So also gets through that cleanly. Sword advantage definitely showing through there.
Just a 5 rupee on digging game. Also, Also, yes, fun fact, you can get spin speed off of the entrance to Thieves Town.
I just love the random things you learn about this game from Randomizer that you would never learn otherwise.
I think there's also a house you can get it off of, too.
Interesting. So Daaanty gonna pick up his mirror off of Stumpy, and I suspect we'll see him head right back into town to take Jeremiah home.
There's the mirror for Daaanty, but yeah. Alright, what's in Skullwoods? Eh. You know, I love how it even explicitly tells you in the game that bombs will kill Hinoxes, but then their own bombs don't hurt them.
Yeah, there's something a little bit weird about the Zelda universe there.
Don't question Nintendo logic, am I right?
Yeah, it's just safer not to. So again, this lack of hammer, a little bit unlucky for Daaanty, as he's going to leave this hammer pegs check for later.
Ice Rod.
That's definitely a good find. One of those potential trolley items off the table now.
Did he find both items?
No, but I think he did as much as he could without fire rods, so I believe that ice rod was the only thing that we found in Skullwoods.
Oh man, yeah, Fear Agent, I think is right. This has been a really good seat.
Yeah, right now
there's another sword.
That's a good find from Daaanty. Yeah, right now we can beat everything but Trinex with the items and information we have, and it looks like Gem is going to go ahead and dip into Swamp Palace. Is fully loaded up for that with the hookshot and the hammer.
Now the question is, where in the world is the fire rod? I'm going to laugh if it's actually on Laser Bridge, like I said at the beginning of this.
Yeah, the witch trial is definitely on. If that's where we find that fire rod, I'd get nervous if I were you.
Well, hey, I've been called a witch enough times in my lifetime.
I mean, all mathematicians are witches already, right? So.
Maybe I'm just psychic, Kappa. Alright, well.
Alright, Daaanty breaking out the flute is probably going to get up to Death Mountain now. Nope, we're going to see some of the Mire area. I guess this makes sense. There are some quick overworld checks over here. And with the cane, he can get all the way to the boss of Mire, so that's theoretically full clearable right now if we can get into it.
What was that? Did you catch what medallion that was? That was way too quick for me.
Yeah, I think it was Bombos, but I'm not sure.
Oh, I thought it was Rage Rod on Rage Rod Island, Ack. For anybody who has not seen that clip, you have got to see that clip. It is the most hilarious thing ever. There's another bottle.
Yeah, so we're definitely getting an interesting divergence here. I mean, Daaanty can full clear the mire and desert area, again, as long as he doesn't find a Trinex as a boss. And not having the hammer is not really slowing him down too much yet. I mean, this wouldn't be faster if he came back with the hammer, so not too much of a concern.
Well, there's
and
his hammer hint.
There's a huge hint. So both of our runners have now gotten hints for items the other already found. The hammer in Hookshot Cave there for Daaanty, and the Samaria in Eastern Palace hint for Gem, which was at the front of Swamp. So our runners now have a lot of knowledge. Okay.
Oh.
That feels like no mode, friends.
No, Quake.
I think we know where all the important items are.
Quake.
Oh, Quake, you're right. You're right. My apologies.
My gosh. But they are able to kill any boss they come across. Or at least we know where. Where was it? Ice Rod with Skullwoods, right?
Yes, that's correct. Which again, Daaanty might get back there pretty soon, but I suspect now that he knows where Hammer is, a trip to Death Mountain is in short order after he finishes off Desert here. Especially now that he has Fire Rod to finish off Turtle Rock, he'll be a lot more inclined to go up there, and again can make it to the boss, and as long as it's not Trinex, we'll be able to beat it.
Yep.
Ooh.
Speaking of Trinex...
So that's unlucky for Daaanty. It's not terrible, because it's only about a minute and a half probably to get back through that back part of Desert, but it's definitely frustrating to run into the one boss in the game that you can't defeat right now. Probably worse that Gem found a Trinex in the back of Swamp Palace. Just because that's probably a bit longer than the Desert Palace redip is going to be.
I mean, it's entirely possible Daaanty will go into Swamp before going to Skull Woods, though.
Not without the hammer, so...
yeah, but he knows where the hammer is.
Yeah, so he might decide to do Swamp before Skull. I don't know. I don't know how he'll do about that one. As much as our runner's trying to avoid Swamp Palace, and as close as Daaanty is to go mode right now.
You know, I don't get why people just skip the front of Skullwoods. It's like, it's basically an extension of the overworld. Oh, well,
Yeah,
we're gonna see Meyer.
Yeah, we'll get to see Meyer. So it all is going to come down to Quake. I mean, it's really hard to say where our runners are in relation to each other at this point, because they're both going to be making checks that the other one will probably be able to go mode, or likely be able to go mode. Like Gem is probably going to full clear Palace of Darkness, and Daaanty just deciding to open up Meyer but not head into it right now. So that makes sense. He's trying to avoid it on the chance that he can possibly go mode it later. Just in terms of item density, that's not his best place to be right now.
Yeah. Also, Daaanty gonna go get his stuff.
Yeah.
Probably gonna get that blue mail while he's at it.
Yep, that would make sense. You're not really going out of your way for it, and so it's definitely worth picking up.
No, Moldorm is not always vanilla. I have seen a fair number of, like, Helmosaurs in the Troldorm arena.
So now Gem is finding the flute. As Daaanty is dipping into the Tower of Hera, again, just a lot of efficient checks for Daaanty to get to make here.
Marrow sleep in the tomb. Thanks, game. Kinda already knew that. Also, what are you doing? Daaanty! Daaanty! He's gonna learn real quickly.
Bad Daaanty. No big key.
Something is missing. The big key?
If only you had already seen the hint telling you where that was. It's alright. Brain flex like this happen to runners all the time. I'm just glad no one is ever watching me when it happens to me, so...
Why is Daaanty doing this when... Yeah, whatever.
I mean, it is all dungeons, you gotta do it sometime, and it's on the way.
No, I'm saying, why is he, like, killing the tiles when he can just sit there?
Oh, yeah. I don't know, bored, I guess?
Tile. The tile room spelled out tile. There's the big key. Pod being bow locked, but that doesn't really matter. Also, you... Oh, I guess you can go this way, huh?
Yeah, finding the big key earlier is sort of nice. We see some bombs in Hype Cave. That's a very useful hint game. So we'll see if this pod dip pays out.
Oh, it's vanilla Moldorm.
A lot of eyeballs on that Moldorm now. Oh, nice. I love that cane kick strat.
So do I. Also, nice key dash.
Yeah, Gem is definitely making this Palace of Darkness dip take as little time as possible.
Oh, jeez. Chat wanting the Quake Medallion and Thieves Town Big Chest.
That would definitely be the worst fetch quest that we have left at this point. We see Daaanty there, messed up his routing just a little bit. Knew where the hammer was, but didn't actually have it to get across the top of Death Mountain, so had to flute to get back down, unluckily.
Oof. Yeah, harmless all the way, slightly less harmless than Randomizer. Bombs. You actually need a surprising number of bombs for Palace of Darkness. And the shovel.
I did say fetch quest a few minutes ago, so... So Daaanty is going to see this Quake requirement now.
Hammer. Oof. Oh, come on, Stalfos.
Meanwhile, Gem has cleared out pretty much all of Pod, I think except for the vanilla big key chest, which he knew had to be just trading a key for a key, so he will skip that one, of course. So yeah, now Daaanty has some options. He can head back into Thieves Town. Looks like he's going up to Skull Woods at this point with that fire rod, which he also got recently. Seems like he is trying to avoid Swamp Palace if he can, which is definitely going to work out well for him with that Trinex in the back and not a lot of helpful items in the front.
Plus, Ice Rod's gonna be in here.
Yeah, so this will be huge for him to get to the point where he can defeat any boss in the game, and then he will just be looking for Quake and clearing dungeons as fast as he can. That fairy trolling Daaanty pretty hard.
You know, Fear Agent's got a point. We didn't see the second item.
Daaanty is going to be super happy to see that Ice Rod. We'll see if he goes... yeah, he is going to basically clear Skull Woods back to front, which is going to work out really well with all of the dungeon items that Gem found in the front part of Skull Woods. Meanwhile, an Argus in Pod fight. Gem executing these Master Sword pokes.
That was actually looking pretty fancy.
Yeah, I really gotta learn good Argus strats, because my Argus fights are garbage. That was almost an exciting prize, but the Ether Medallion, which is 100% useless.
Of course it's the medallion we don't need.
Why wouldn't it be? Daaanty getting a little bit lucky finding a full magic refill in what's normally the Gibdo room, so has a good bit of magic going into whatever fight this is.
It is Argus! With a moving floor! Oh goodness! This is not fun. Ow.
Yeah, we'll see if any of these safeties come into play. I believe both our runners found a blue potion a while ago, so that might be helpful at this point.
We need to just deactivate the floor and the spikes in Randomizer, really.
So Gem now activating his flute. I suspect he'll be heading off to the Mire Desert area next. Sort of the highest density of items that he has left to check out. And the flute will give him access to Mire as well. Which that might put him in pretty good shape as well.
Don't forget there's at least 2 items in Thieves Town. It might have been 3.
Yeah, it seems like our runners are trying to avoid re-dipping that, even now that they have the hammer. Well, Gem had the hammer before, but yeah, they're just not excited about how long those few checks in the back are going to take.
I mean, can't really blame them, but at the same time...
Yeah, it is going to be very frustrating if they find Quake there 45 minutes from now.
I mean, I wouldn't really say either of them are in the lead, really, just because they have to find Quake and goodness only knows where that is.
Yeah, the Quake is a huge question mark. I think we'll get a pretty good sense of where they are relative to each other after Daaanty finishes Pod, which is where he is headed to right now. Yeah, Gem's going to pick up a little bit of time being able to finish off Trinex on his first run through Desert Palace. But so he will have Desert Palace done in comparison to Daanty's Skull Woods. But that'll give us a pretty good sense of where these runners are relative to each other, because I think those final boss fights that they'll have to clean up are about the same amount of time.
Yeah. Also, we haven't seen Catfish either.
Yeah, I'm not sure we've seen Pyramid Ledge either as well, so
Jim
Gem's
did
probably
check
gonna...
Pyramid Ledge.
Oh, okay. I was thinking he might route that all together because he's got both 5-6 crystals as well, so the inside of Pyramid is open to him also.
I'm surprised that Daaanty didn't do a ped check. What was that I hint?
Piece of Heart is held with the fishes, so I'm not sure if that's Catfish or Zora.
I don't think we ever saw Zora.
Yeah, we've not seen Zora, because when Gem, well, they both sequence broke up to Waterfall Cave and just didn't have enough rupees to buy the Zora item at that point. Yeah, Daaanty is not going to curry any favor with chat by not checking the pedestal there. So yeah, as I was saying before, I think this clarifies things a fair bit, because Gem is going to finish off this Trinex here in the back of Desert Palace in just a minute or so. And I think I would definitely give him the edge at this point, because our runners have pretty much the same items. Well, Daaanty does have Tower of Hera over Gem as well, so yeah, maybe it's closer than I thought.
Yeah.
Because certainly the redip of Desert that Daaanty is going to have to do is sort of equivalent to the redip of Skull Woods that Gem is going to have to do with Fire Rod now. But yeah, so that Tower of Hera is the advantage that Daaanty has, but the disadvantage is he's got to clear out the back of Palace of Darkness, which he's in the process of right now.
Yeah, exactly. Nice thing is, we know nothing's gonna be in Turtle Rock except maybe another sword.
Yeah, or silvers, but nothing really vital. Daaanty is hammer yumping here, based on just the way he's decided to route through Palace of Darkness.
And gets it.
I'm not sure how much time that actually saves since you have the mirror, but I guess if he's planning on going straight to Helmasaur out of the Harmless Hellway, sort of the intended route through this dungeon, that this might work out pretty well.
I mean, considering that he has the mirror, it saves very minimal time. Also, we're getting a Meyer check. Oh, that's a good point. Ice Palace is on the table too.
So here's the inevitable guard shack, which always comes up somewhere in the Randomizer. Meyer 2 is not the nicest place for it to be, though. As Gem pulls out the bombos. And Daaanty death warps out of Palace of Darkness anyway. That seems pretty equivalent to if he had just gone into Dark Maze the usual way and mirrored out.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that wasn't his plan. He just got low on health, and then that was the best way to sort of reset things. That would make sense, but pretty much winds up with the same route through Palace of Darkness that Gem did, so pretty equivalent on those runs. Stalfos out of nowhere in Misery Mire. The pod boss is another Argus, who has the Ether Medallion, which will get Daaanty briefly very excited, I think.
Yeah, for that split second until you register which medallion it is.
Yeah, both of our runners are just in Quake Hunt mode at this point, since that is all we need to get into Turtle Rock, and we can finish off everything else in the game except that right now. So yeah, as much as our runners' routes have diverged at this point, it's really hard to see exactly what's going on and who is ahead. Daaanty opting for Bombo strats in the turtle room as well, unfortunately not getting the Igor down right away, so we'll have to wake him back up.
Nothing really of value in Meyer for now.
Yeah, looks like a vanilla big key, so Gem's gonna have to go through the cutscene.
Maybe Quick's in the big chest.
Yeah, it's sort of a wash, because you know your opponent's going to have to do this sooner or later anyway, so it's not really time you're losing. It does give a minute to think, at least.
Alright, and pod done for Daaanty. Yeah, probably a Meyer.
Yeah, I believe it was the spike chest is where half magic was. So So yeah,
So-
Daaanty is now ahead 1 dungeon. Gem will be finishing Meyer pretty soon here. Downside is that Gem has already been all the way to the back of Swamp Palace, but could not beat the Trinex that he found there.
I'm surprised Jim is opting not to do the big chest unless he got both items.
Actually, yeah, Gem must have gotten both items because he does not have either the map or the compass. So those have to be in the big chest and on whatever the boss is.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I lost track of what the second item was as well.
Oh, Daaanty doing the swamp dive. At least he'll be able to finish this off.
Ah, okay. Chat telling me there was a 50 rupees somewhere in Meyer, so thank you for keeping me on track there.
Thanks, game.
So one thing you can count on is very helpful hints all the time from this game.
Helmasaur. Also, that is a very pretty colored Helmasaur.
It's a very good...
Helmasaur's tail still looks like a slinky, I tell you.
I was going to say, this green is a good color for a dinosaur-looking thing, so...
Yeah. There's also Ice Palace. It's open, all dungeons in a miser.
So now our runners are even on number of dungeons completed again. Gem has already cleared out most of Swamp, but we'll have to head back to the back of it to take out the boss. But Daaanty has Tower of Hera and Skull Woods that Gem doesn't, which are both going to be pretty fast for Gem to finish. But also Daaanty will just get to dip into the back of Desert Palace, which will also be a very fast boss clear at the end.
Oh, have we seen Agina?
I think we have to. When Daaanty was here doing Desert before, I would be shocked if he didn't, but I don't remember what it was. Alright, just a heart piece, so either way, no worries. Alright, so Gem is heading down into the Hype Cave portal. This might be the Swamp Palace redip, then into the Pyramid Fairy check, because he can clear out basically everything he needs to do in this part of the world in one run up through things.
Yeah, well, frankly, I don't think that really counts, even though that is technically major. It really doesn't give an advantage. Accidental major things are not.
So Daaanty opting for hammer strats for this fight. Gem is going to be just a couple minutes behind since he'll be able to just rush to the back of Swamp Palace. Neither of our runners has done the left side of Swamp, though. We'll see if Gem opts for that on his redip.
Nice.
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like the layout of Mire is gonna work in Gem's favor a little bit, because even if Daaanty gets to go mode that later, it's still gonna be an annoying hunt for the big key for him, so he won't pick up very much time. So it's sort of insurance for Gem on the Mire dip. And yeah, it looks like the left side is not in play just yet.
That green pendant might be the answer too, though.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. One more check that the Swamp Palace finish opens up for our runners. And now Daaanty is going to go back in for the left side.
Can't really blame them. They're kind of running out of spots.
Yeah, we're reaching the point in the seed where sort of little gambles like this one become big gambles, because if you find Quake, that's the whole game, and if your opponent finds Quake a minute and a half ahead of you because you checked the left side of Swamp, that's the whole game in the opposite direction, so... we will see how this decision works out.
And that's that done for Gem. Actually, Gem has all 3 pendants now, and you know what that means.
Yeah, and he does still have Skull Woods on the table, so he could make that check while he's there.
Go finish Skull Woods, get the pedestal, make chat happy, and... yeah, although it doesn't look like he's going right now.
Yeah, he's got the Bombos tablet to check still. Moment of truth for Swamp Palace, because Gem has definitely decided to write off the left side of Swamp. Just 10 arrows in the first chest. If Daaanty finds Quake here, that is an almost insurmountable advantage for the Titans mids, and just a heart piece.
RIP! Also, I think that somebody in chat was saying there was cash on one of the fishes, so that means that one's cash and one's a heart piece, I think, right? That's indeed accurate.
Oh yeah, I don't remember what the I don't remember seeing the second hint, but yeah, that would be good information if our runners could see that. And Daaanty is going to head into Ice Palace.
Oh, the big bomb. We totally forgot about this.
Yeah, I mean, this makes sense to routing after Swamp, and if Gem wanted to do Catfish and Zora, he could just swing right up there from there, so I think that has been his plan since going into Swamp. We're going to see some bomb duplication, it would appear. Ooh, got nailed by that rope there.
That's not gonna... oh. Yeah, that might work. That might work.
Nicely done. The backup strats with the mirror to make the bomb dupe happen, even though he couldn't get off screen in time.
That's a very, very old trick, actually.
Yeah, you just need to trigger a screen transition at just the right time when the bomb is about to explode.
Just 6 bombs for the big bomb. That seems about right.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure I knew before now that the mirror screen transition would count for the bomb dupe glitch, but so it's looking more and more like Ice Palace is about our only option for where that Quake Medallion could be. Oh, Gem, gonna check out our shovel. We have seen a distinct lack of fetch quests so far, just a big 20 there. But the mushroom and powder are both still at large, so both of those are still on the table, I guess. As
Also,
well
these
as
Ice
back of
Palace
Thieves'
scents
Town.
are absolute garbage.
Yeah, our runners got one good hint each, so that's about all you can ask for.
Also, oh, look where Jim's going.
Yep, pedestal is another option.
Yes, I do believe Ether Tablet was checked.
Yes, because Daaanty went back up to Death Mountain the second time fairly late and had the book already, so we have seen Ether.
Jim delaying the pedestal check. Map requires a hammer. Thanks, game. That's such a helpful hint.
Yeah, chat's talking about Spike Cave right now. I think I agree with some earlier assessment that maybe Daaanty did not make the best choices on the second Death Mountain trip. That he could have grabbed Hammer first and then done Hera into that Spike Cave check at the end of his run up Death Mountain, which I think would have been more efficient. So we will see that that Spike Cave would definitely feel bad for both of our runners, I think, to run into that Quake Medallion there, but
If it's there, just that's so awful.
yeah, if it's one of the non-Hammerlocked chests in Thieves' Town too, that would also feel real bad for our runners. So Gem definitely showed his skill at the Argus fight before. It becomes a whole lot trickier to do on these moving conveyor belts, but he is making his way through this fight. Another small advantage is at this point he has a lot more hearts than Daaanty did at the same fight, so he will get to hold on to his blue potion, which Daaanty had to use here because he was on about 5 or 6 fewer hearts at the time.
Yeah. Also, if you go up a room here, you can get fairies if you drop in the pits. Well, room above this one, that is.
Yeah, and it looks like that's what Daaanty is probably going to do on his way to Ice Tea Room here. Okay, the enemy's barely cooperating. No, he is forging ahead. He's confident in his skills to survive Ice Palace right now.
Ooh, pet height.
As Gem will pull it blind.
Oh my god!
Oh!
There it is!
Wow. So Daanty's choice to not check the pedestal. He was here, he had the book. Oh my goodness, that is gonna feel real bad when he finds out where that Quake Medallion has been this whole time. And that is a huge advantage for Jim and Team 4K 4th and 4Head. So if you were hoping for a Game 5 in this series, good news, friends, because that is a huge advantage.
And there's the health refill before Cold Stare. Or not. Daaanty, where are you going? Sure. Just open useless key door for absolutely no reason.
So this is going to be difficult for Daaanty to catch up from, I think, because he's going to have to full clear Mire while Gem is go-moding Ice Palace. Again, he was going to have to full clear Mire regardless, or just about full clear because of where the big key is, but he'll definitely make a couple of extra checks in Mire that he doesn't really have to, as we see another Vitreous here in the Ice Palace. Daaanty a little bit better equipped this time, but not much, actually. He does have the Master Sword now, when he was on Fighter Sword before.
Yeah, this would have been such a different race if he just... Man, that's gonna be painful. Yes, Chopin. Quake was on pedestal.
I mean, the good news for Daaanty is pretty much pedestal and the dungeons that lead him there are the only thing he has left to check. So he will definitely be heading back to the Mire Desert area right now. I guess he might do the Pyramid Ferry while he's sort of in the area of the eastern part of the world, but yeah, I think the big question will be after he finishes these dungeons.
Where is he going?
Oh, he's going to turn in the green pendant.
Ah.
And some foreshadowing from earlier in the race, we saw a hint that there's some cash at the Graveyard Ledge, which is a hint that Daaanty opted not to check in Spectacle Rock. So that is one more random check that he's going to make that if he had routed a little bit differently, made some different decisions, he would not have to be doing right now. And this looks like a Pyramid Fairy check. Nope, Shovel first.
Oh, man.
So I think Daanty's best hope is if he is tempted by finishing off his last two dungeons, and then that leads him to the pedestal because he'll have all of the pendants at this point, but he's leaning toward the overworld checks, which makes sense for where he is because they're going to be much faster than, say, the two items that you're going to get out of Misery Mire, but it's the pendant in Mire that he really needs. Gem going back to Blue Cane strats for Vitreous. Not the fastest, but definitely very safe, especially with half magic.
Something bad could always happen, like a crash or something. Although that's certainly not the way anybody ever wants to win, but just saying.
So Gem is now headed up to Death Mountain for the last time. We'll be able to hit Turtle Rock, and then do Tower of Hera directly into the Ganon's Tower entrance. Or, nope, where is Gem going? Gonna stock on a couple of potions first, that makes sense.
Yep.
If the seed gives you 3 bottles, you might as well use them.
Guys, Jim's not gonna be looking for silvers. Like, he's not gonna like having to do Master Sword silverless, but he definitely knows silverless.
I think what we're seeing here, as soon as one of our runners hits go mode, chat goes into immediate troll mode. It's an unpleasant place to find a Beamos there on the run up to Zora's domain.
Silvers!
Wow, that is a heck of a place for silver arrows to be. Which will be nice for Daaanty, but I don't think is going to make up the deficit that he is finding himself in right now.
Yeah, that's probably only maybe, what, a 2-minute time save? At most.
Yeah, I mean, it's bigger given that Gem does not have Tempered Sword, so Master Sword Silverless is definitely a long and annoying fight, but we'll see if he can find that last sword we haven't seen on his way up Ganon's Tower. And now Daaanty is opting to check the pedestal. We'll see if we get to any rage slashes here. I would suspect that we will. Laser focus from Daaanty.
He kind of gave it a glare there for a second. Quake was on pedestal. Yes, this is all dungeons, Crippy.
Yeah, and Daaanty is in go mode, which is unfortunately not going to help him much in this mire, given that the big key is in the absolute last place that you want to check. It is in its vanilla location.
Yeah, and he's already done everything in Desert except for Landmo. Or, well, Trinex in this case.
Yeah, and then Go Mode Turtle Rock, both of our runners will have the access to, but it's not much of a Go Mode outside of Key Sanity.
Key Sanity inverted those things.
Alright, so Gem is trekking across the top of Death Mountain into Turtle Rock, his last dungeon that he needs to clear. Well, I guess there's still Aga Tower as well, but as usual, our runners will just route that in after Aga 2. Sort of the ideal way to do it, if you can get away with it.
Yep.
gotta say, the enemizing this seed has not been particularly trolly to our runners. Outside of that Mire 2 room with a billion guards in it, it hasn't been too bad. The Chaos Boss Shuffle has been a little bit rough, but the standard enemies not really hurting too much.
Yeah, also Big Key.
That's really good to find right away. That might actually speed up some of Turtle Rock, depending on where the small keys are.
Well, that's 2 small keys.
So yeah, Gem only needs to find 1 more before he can make it all the way back to the boss. Since you can always steal the key from the Pokey and skip the lava chest room. Or lava chest, period.
You might want to go back for that key. There you go. Ah, rip. No god TR. Why, game? So Ganon isn't hurt by normal arrows. You have to do 52 Master Sword spins to kill Ganon. 24 of those being rather precisely timed.
Yeah, in the last phase, I don't even think it's intended behavior that you can actually damage Ganon without the silvers, but if you do it at just the right time with a Master Sword spin, you can damage him. Well, Master Sword or higher.
Yeah. Actually, you can slash him. With tempered or butter, but it's very, very, very tight time window. I think it's 2 frames, I've heard.
Wow, I did not know that. But of course, either way, it's definitely going to be slower since you have plenty of time to charge up a spin, so... Yeah, that was a pretty good troll going into the pokey area where the anti-fairies normally are. There was a lot of stuff waiting by the door for Gem that he had to pick his way through pretty carefully to steal that key.
Yep. Also, Jim gonna have to do laser bridge.
An unfortunately placed spike roller there. Jim will opt for some hookshot strats to avoid some of that damage. I admit this is all my fault because I was commenting that the enemizing so far hadn't been so bad, and then it just all hit at once.
They still have to check out Aga Tower.
That's true. It's always a good spot for trolly enemies.
Also, vanilla small key.
Because why wouldn't it be the last chest? And our third Vitreous fight of the day. And Gem will once again opt for the blue cane strats.
Also, Daaanty about to go get his Quake medallion. You can't do blue cane with Master Sword on Ganon. Oh!
Yeah, so Gem collecting his last crystal just as Daaanty gets the Quake medallion that will let him into Turtle Rock. And Math Girl has started the Ganon's Tower Big Key guessing game. There are 22 items where 22 locations where that very important item might be in Ganon's Tower. Get your guesses in chat right now. If you are a supporter or donator to Speed Gaming, I believe it's 250 bits, is that right, across all the channels? You are eligible to get on our leaderboard.
I think you can also do Patreon, but I'm not 100% certain on that.
So a very quick Big Key guessing game coming out of Turtle Rock there. We were a little bit behind on that one, sorry. But we will keep count of Gem's item checks as he goes through Ganon's Tower.
Sorry, Zinc Finger. One piece of heart, two small shield. Yeah, isn't Furiation up to like 7 wins now?
7 is the last number I saw. Very suspicious still. Number 3, a small key on the torch.
Oh, 8 apparently.
Number 4, a heart piece. Number 5, the map. That might have been our map is hammer locked hint right there. Number 6 is the magic powder. And number 7, another small key. So at this point, Daanty's best hope is for a big key in the tile room, and he gambles it and Gem does not.
Well, there's French Vanilla Red Mail.
Yeah, very close to its normal location.
Oh, goodness.
Number 9, another heart piece.
What's usually your guess for Big Key?
I like the double firebar room that we just saw a second ago. That's what I usually opt for.
I have honestly only seen the Big Key be in there twice.
10 through 13, nothing. Red potion is one more safety for Gem that he won't need. Found the mushroom as well, so all the fetch quests were hiding in Ganon's Tower for us.
Yep. Also, these messed up graphics, though. 300
Bob's chest.
rupees.
Yeah, 300 rupees, number 14.
Mothula.
Mothula on ice is not quite what I was hoping for. I wanted another Trinex, but... we normally say Mothula is very easy without all the spikes around. The ice does make that a little tricky, at least.
Alright, 17. The half vanilla.
I believe that was
15.
number 15 officially. The vanilla big key. So, congrats to Altarian. Nicely done on that guessing game. I think we can all agree the most important thing is that Fear Agent didn't win another one.
Agreed.
So, Gem, climbing up the gauntlet here as Daaanty is dealing with this awful crystal roller, using the blue cane strats as well. There's plenty of magic around in Turtle Rock to replenish that, so making use of his items there.
Also, just shoutouts to Jim's execution in that room.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity to point out that these are a couple of very high-level runners who've put in a lot of work to demonstrate the skill that they have in the game today, so please make sure to give them both a follow. You'll get to see more great content from them. And give Speed Gaming a follow as well while you're here and see more great races. Keep up with the Link to the Past League and all of the other great content here on Speed Gaming.
There's Speed Gaming 2 through 6. There's, if you know foreign languages, there's Speed Gaming Espanol, Speed Gaming Francais, Speed Gaming Deutsch, and Speed Gaming Portuguese.
Ganon's Tower not particularly threatening at this point. Mini Moldorms are a little annoying. Although I gotta say, I watched some of that double speed Mini Moldorm hack the other day, and now Mini Moldorms just seem really boring on their own.
I think so. Vulcan Boran.
Our first cold stare fight of the game happens in the Landmo 2 room.
So that room is so awkward. Cause you just, yeah. As is this one. At least they're pretty nice though.
Yeah, at least easy enemies. Whoa, not so easy enemies there. Gibdos appearing out of nowhere.
And a floor master, wall master thing.
So we see Daaanty is sort of taking normal strats through Ganon's Tower here. Obviously there's not a whole lot he can actually do to speed up his trip back to the big key in its vanilla location. But Daaanty does seem to be hoping that Gem has also gotten trolled by the pedestal as much as he did, or else he might be trying to take some sort of a bigger gamble here in GT.
I just want to know one thing. Why did he not check Ped when he was finishing Skullwards?
I think he had to have just not thought about it. It's one of those things that can just slip your mind in the stress of a race, and that unfortunately came back to bite him today.
Sir Sven, it's Quake, yeah. Alright, time for Aga 2, then Aga 1, then the Big Pig. So there's Jim didn't get the sword. Where was it?
Purple chest, I think, is the one that Gem missed.
Yeah, and then Daaanty missed the one at Hammer Pigs.
Other sword might be in the GT Big chest, or probably the back of Thieves Town is more likely, just from the number of chests that they left back there.
Or right side GT, or
Oh yeah, I forgot we left some of the right side of GT as well. And Daaanty unfortunately mirrored out and is gonna check the right side. Did he do that after the rando room?
I was paying more attention to Jim, honestly.
Yeah, I missed it too.
Nice thing is, this will spit Jim right out on the pyramid.
And there was that last sword that we missed there in the compass room in Ganon's tower.
Well, that'll buy him a little time, but I don't think it's gonna be enough at this point. Not without some serious execution errors from Jim.
Yeah, the Master Sword Silverless is always a little bit scary, but Gem does have, I think, 3 potions, 2 blue and a red, and half magic. So I would be very surprised to see Gem have enough trouble with the Ganon fight for Daaanty to catch up.
Also, Idiom, don't forget that blue balls are seeded. As are Ganon warps. And besides, even if they weren't, the max blue balls you could get with a perfect Fighter 15. What?
Tempered Sword coming in handy for Daaanty there, just 4 slashes to Mothula.
So I guess we have a game 5 to look forward to.
Yeah, it's definitely looking that way. Gem is just this Master Sword Silverless fight away from moving the series to that all-crucial Game 5. Yeah, Daaanty is out of small keys. Checked a couple of extra chests after the big key to try and find one more, and is betting on one being in the mini Helmosaur room or somewhere around there. Yeah, Agawon not being very cooperative right now. It's almost like he doesn't want to be, destroyed magically. But Gem does get through that fight, and now we see the big advantage of saving Agawon till the very end. Gets let out on top of the pyramid with full health and magic to just jump right into the Ganon fight.
Yep. Now for 52 spins. Yay!
So through the first phase for Gem.
Ganon just not playing nice today.
I think we're at 10 spins here in phase 2.
Oh no! Oh! Oh, this is bad! Oh, Daaanty went upstairs without a key!
I think the last key might have been in Tile Room, or maybe in the big chest, which are the only things he didn't check. Unless there's one right here. Gem didn't check these. Oh. I mean, I'm sure Daaanty will feel better when he finds out that Gem was already on the Ganon fight when that happened, but that is definitely a tilter right now. As Gem is into the final phase of the fight, has got the torch glitch, and with half magic, not too much of a concern, and again, does still have all those potions as backups. Yeah, it looks like Daaanty is running back to the big chest right now, or wasn't sure if he had gotten this key already or not. Oh. And there it is.
GG.
24 spins later in that final phase, and Gem has defeated the Big Pig, and will finish first place in this race with a time of approximately 1:48:50-ish?
148.46.
When he walks through the door. Get your GGs in chat. Well done from Gem.
Unfortunately, Daaanty forfeiting right behind. So, shall we get them in for interviews?
Absolutely, and Gem following tradition for Team 4K Fourth and Forehead, moving his team logo up there to the over top of the Triforce, raising it in triumph at the end of this seed. So yes, we will see if we can get both of our runners in chat.
They both agreed to interviews.
This race definitely came down to that Quake on pedestal, so chat's always happy about that one.
Yeah, I have some questions for Daaanty. Hello and welcome, GG's, whoever that is.
Yo, this is Daaanty. Thanks, GG.
GG. Oh, and there's Jim.
Hey, GG Daaanty.
GG, Jim. Nice race.
Yeah.
So how about that seed?
It was alright. Good thing I picked our dungeons.
So, I got a question for you, Daaanty.
Oh, I know what it's gonna be, but go ahead.
No, you can guess if you want.
Why did I go up GT without a key?
Well, that one too. That was gonna be the second question. Why did you do that?
I did that so as I was mirroring, there was this moment of like from getting the big key, I saw my key count at 0, and it was the slowest motion mirror in my head that I had ever seen. It was like, I need to check the big chest, and then I'm like, okay, we're gonna hope there's a key in the attic because I feel very behind already because I took forever to check the ped. So, yeah.
Alright, so that leads to my second question. You had the book, you had the mirror, you were completing Skullwoods. Why did you not just check the pedestal then?
In hindsight, I should have, obviously, but I had like, I was thinking 2 to 3 steps ahead, and unfortunately, I overlooked that step. I mean, I've done it before, and it hurts to do it again in a race like this, but I mean, I had a plan. I was like, okay, we're gonna do this, and then I just totally forgot it. So, oops.
The sad thing is that that would have been the game changer.
Yeah, now that you say that, it didn't ever even cross my mind. I had the mirror at that point to check it. So, now that you say that hurts even worse. So,
I mean, the
oh
worst
well.
part is you even mirrored coming out of Skull Woods to flute somewhere else, so you were really just right there.
Oh yeah, I did, didn't I? Well, thanks for pointing that out. GG's to Jim. No, it's good.
Oh,
GG's to Jim. This was.
You know, the funny thing is that Jim actually did a blind pull, and that was how we found out that was where the Quake medallion was.
Well, I realized something about Ped. You know, I think it was right after I did Ice, and I was like, do I dive back into Thieves? I was like, Quake's gonna be in Thieves, like, because I didn't do the back. That was the only thing I was thinking at that point. And then as I'm running up to Ped, I was like, oh, I never went to Meyer. I left because I got the hammer hint. And I was like, I need to go to Meyer if I'm gonna pull the Ped and finish off Desert, so I guess I'll just check it. And then when I saw it, I was like, oh, now I gotta make 2 trips up here. This is gonna take forever. Oh well. Sometimes this just happens, unfortunately. I hate it happened in this race, but yeah, Jim has single-handedly beaten every one of the Titans mitts this season. That's crazy.
But yeah, Jeff,
If we lose here, it's
what
not my
were your
fault.
thoughts on this?
So, are
Sorry?
you guys looking forward to Game 5 between your two teams?
Yeah, I believe in my man Egg. He can turn this around.
I believe in GTG, so it's going to be fun to watch. I mean, those are two guys I love watch racing, so that's going to be really good. And yeah.
I'm just
Yes.
happy it's not you racing Egg again, because we know how that turns out.
Also, I just wanted to point out, so, Daaanty, you had a sword waiting for you in Hammer Pigs. And Jim, you had a
Ooh.
sword waiting for you in Purple Chest. And also, Jim, you had silvers waiting for you at Zora.
Nice. Those silvers would have been nice for Witty. Oh well.
Yeah, the 3 Vitreous fights that you guys had to deal with in this seed.
Yeah. At first I tried like going faster and not using the blue cane because it lags the game too hard, but in the end I was just so tired of Master Sword Witty that I just used it right away.
Yeah, we noticed that in the 3rd one that the Blue King came out at the very start of that fight in Turtle Rock. So yeah, this has been a great series between these two teams. Definitely fitting of the division championship for the Lake Hylia division, and we will all be excited to see how that Game 5 turns out. So we're being told in chat that game is going to be tomorrow at 11:59 p.m. All dungeon, hard, inverted, swordless Randomizer.
Yeah, that's going to be really fun and nuts to watch. So all season, GTG and I have both said this kind of in like our chat, in the Discord. Watching races and watching your teammates race is the most stressful thing because you can see what the other guy is doing. And I am going to literally be more stressed than anything watching that unfold tomorrow.
Oh man, I know that feeling because I've been in a group stage before, and it like one of the people had to win for us to go to a tiebreaker. And it was somebody who was notorious for ending up just doing a full clear of the seat, and it's like, dang you, don't you dare even think about it. Yeah, it's always fun.
Yeah, I wasn't sure you were going to survive the last Game 5 that you watched, Daaanty, from the first round of the playoffs. So hopefully you'll make it through this one a little bit more with a little bit more sanity.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, obviously, this is why we play, because you don't know it's randomizer. So in a way, you don't know who's going to win. But we've made it this far. I do believe we can keep going. We're just gonna have to see how things go. I feel really bad that I made those big dumbs that potentially cost this. But unfortunately, I told them I was going to play kind of aggressive today, and I think that made me not think about safety so much. So, oh well.
Yeah, it's hard to say how exactly the race would have turned out even with that earlier ped check, just because, you guys' routes diverged so much that it was going to be a really close race either way. So, yeah, definitely a tough one, but you put in a good fight today. So, congrats again to both of you, and especially to Jem for pushing us to Game 5.
Hey, thanks.
So yeah, any final thoughts from our runners on this seed?
Well, I'll say GG to Jim again, and thank you guys for doing the commentary. I know we kind of were crunched to find commentators for this race coming in this afternoon, being kind of like a mid-afternoon, at least on the East Coast of the U.S. type race. But thank you guys for stepping in. Thank you to the tracker, and obviously Speed Gaming for putting it on. And I look forward to seeing Game 5.
Indeed. So with that, I think we'll wrap things up. I have been Math Girl, and it's been a pleasure watching everybody and commentating this race. I'll leave you with the last words.
Yes, I've enjoyed this as well. Always fun to be on the comms with you, Math Girl, and it's always great to watch this Link to the Past Rando League. So the next game in this, the next league game is scheduled for 3 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. So definitely come back here to Speed Gaming for that one, and keep an eye on us for all of your Speed Gaming needs. So we will wrap it up here. Thanks again to everyone in chat. Thanks again to our runners for putting on a great show, and we will see you next time.
Hey, everybody.